Joyce had sent me the following text. Operating funds, $152,483.45. Our maintenance fund, $11,841.71. And our money market account has $42,515.27. Next would be our administration report with BCS. Chris?
Chris Kellner, BCS Management. No real change in terms of the funds from month end till now. A slight bump in the operating fund. Again, there's float with checks, and the bank rec shows, differences there. But the operating fund's strong. It's more than 3 times the regular operating claims. That's a great thing. Grinder pump maintenance fund, again, we're not quite to that 15,000 where we want to be able to reorder 5 pumps from Covalent, but we're making our way. And then the capital fund is approaching 50,000, which is great. So this is good progress for the district. With the last month, the claims were lighter, even with Dutcher Trenching providing 2 months of claims, which again we passed through. So it was a positive month, about to the tune of $12,000 for the district, making a year operating surplus for regular operating claims and billings about $36,000. The really good news from a cash flow perspective is Nucor paid $43,000 for some billing, which was a big thing, restoring their account to current. And then once that came in and I had all this information in front of me, I went and did a mid-year kind of check on the budget just to take a look at it. So printed in front of you, you should see that. It's the long legal 11 by 7. Really blown up, so it's easy to see what's going on there. What I did is a typical budget review process. If you've been through it, look at the variance from the budget. This is a 7th month budget. It's not exactly 6. I had the extra month in there, so I said, why not look at it? So January to July, through July, 7 months, the budget based on what was presented at the start of the year. This is what it should be at prorated. Then the actuals that we've gotten through claims, and then the variance there. So if it's a positive variance, it's green. If it's a negative variance, where we're over budget or under from revenue, then that's red. And then we don't want to focus on every single number, obviously, so just the ones that are significant is the ones that I said, hey, let's drill down and look at them a little more closely. And so from a positive perspective, the revenue of getting the Nucor $18,000 for the Nucor coatings expansion that's happening there was great. That's a positive variance for sure. And then pump and haul as well came in a little higher than expected. So again, we passed through those costs with a markup. And then from an expense standpoint, the variances that we want to pay attention to were the repairs, again, were a lot higher than budgeted. That's more of a budgeting note. Tom can't control when things break. But we did that big lift station rehab and pump replacement. That's what that is primarily you're seeing there. So that's not a big concern. That's what happened. And then same thing with the labs. That was a lot of sludge removal that's kind of captured in there with the chemical labs line. That's not something they're doing in the lab. They're removing sludge. That's how that was just being captured and categorized from a budget perspective. So no concern there. That happened twice. And then line locates, again, we've been tracking that a little more closely. Only reason it's over, again, we talked about this at the beginning of the year. They did the first of the year contract renewal fee. That's the main reason it's over right now, so it's not a concern. And then kind of buried in back in the black bookkeeping's expenses, there's no real concern. Amy's just been paying Darlington Utilities for the district on her credit card and then reimbursing back in the black bookkeeping. That's the only reason there's that real variance there. That's what's being captured. It's not really a variance from the budget plan. And then you can see at the bottom, the total variance is there that we're kind of over budget by $45,000. Again, noting those major repairs that were done at the lift station as the main driver of that difference that you're seeing. So not a big concern as long as the pumps and the lift stations don't fail again, which they won't. Tom and team are doing a great job taking care of it. I see no reason to be concerned. The budget is on track. There's some positive variances, there's some negative variances that'll all, I think, sort out by the end of the year. So I think we're doing well there. Any questions about the budget mid-year? And of course, you'll get updates as we go.
No, just a comment on just the maintenance. I mean, the newness is kind of officially worn off on the facility, and we don't have the luxury anymore of not having to work on or fix, repair. So just experience tells me, dealing with older things, those numbers are probably going to be more consistent. So, and it's a good thing now we're in better shape we were financially as far as setting stuff aside, setting money aside in that account to take care of said things. So there's that.
So again, budget looks on track, and great point, Dan. As infrastructure ages, it will need more maintenance, and we'll see those costs increase. That's why we got the capital fund, and we'll keep building it.
Yep.
That was my only real note there on the budget. No other miscellaneous admin notes to call out, other than this is just a budget-related thing or cash flow-related thing. The RDC loan repayment, that is going to resolve itself and finish in November, so that frees up $4,500 a month. So that'll be a great thing to save for capital expenses. The website, no major updates. There were a lot more people looking at our events, so maybe folks were interested in what's going on. Maybe they're watching the live stream right now, so no one's in the room. That's all that I have for the admin report.
Thank you. Then Tom, maintenance report.
All righty. Yeah, for the the month of June, which is the most recent month that's been reported to IDEM, we were in full compliance, as we have been all year, and throughout July we've been in full compliance. All the regulated removal percentages for the month of June were above 96%. 85% is kind of, I guess, the anything above that is pretty good. We did have the flows, and I know that we watch these pretty closely. There's no reason to fret. The last couple of months, we found the flow meter is calibrated every year as per required, but we found some variance in the way that the ultrasonic sensor was reading. It was overestimating the flows, or over-reporting the flows for for May and June. That's been rectified early in July, so we'll see those return to normal. Instead of reporting the effluent results for the month, what we did was we reported the influent. And the influent, again, you'll see there at 76,800 gallons a day on average. That is also elevated. We're still right around that 50% mark. It's just the influent flow meter captures some of the flow that's recycled back to the head of the plant through the decanning and sludge management process. So don't fret about those. We've put a note in the IDEM reports when we've submitted these, so that IDEM knows that these are the best numbers that we have, but they're elevated. So those will come back to earth here. Moving on to action items, and I'll start off with the smaller item first there. For the influent lift station, the level transducer there failed, and we need to replace it. The not including installation, the equipment cost is $1,646. So we would request approval for that. You want me to go on to the other item, or?
Yeah, if you would, please.
Okay. The other item is the lift station pump inventory, and obviously we're doing a lot better with the lift stations now than earlier this year. We do have all the lift stations except for South 1B are operating off of 2 pumps as designed. South 1B, as you recall, was recently brought back online. We used that during our austerity period. The pumps there, we swapped them to the other lift stations because it wasn't being used. So it's only operating off 1 pump, and now Nucor is utilizing that lift station once again. There was a period there when I believe it was Hervoth, one of the contractors, shut down for a couple years. So anyway, we previously presented a quote. We were able to get the non-explosion proof model of the flight pump quoted in late April for $16,366. And that is a couple $1,000s worth of savings over the FM model that's generally used there. So now that we're on better footing, we would also like to request approval to have that pump, purchase that pump. We'll go ahead and install it at South Lift Station 1B, but having all the lift stations with the proper number of pumps, I believe, is now that we're in better shape, definitely a prudent move.
How many weeks would it take to get that pump?
Well, yeah, it's you're looking at 6 to 8 weeks, so the lead times are significant. They're all engineered pumps, and the parts are, I think they're assembled here, but they're definitely parts they have to get from Sweden. They're Swedish pumps.
Chris Kellner, BCS Management, we would still have about $30,000 left in the capital fund after buying this pump.
And this is the same pump that we had talked about several months back, and we thought we'd just hold off because it wasn't urgent.
Right,
So.
right, and and we've successfully, with the State Road 32 lift stations, we've put in the HOMA, the model there that Indiana Pump Works is using, and it's working well. But we kind of wanted to keep those lift stations to where we use that other substitute brand, and then for the original 3 lift stations, South 1B, North 1A, and Influent, we wanted to probably stick with Flight for those. That was the thinking. But yes, this is the pump that was quoted back then, and I would say, just to be safe, given some of the recent tariffs and stuff, I would say maybe just to be safe, do 17.5 or something like that for the not to exceed for that pump purchase. But I'll try to make them honor the original quote.
And Nucor Towers is on that lift station, and it's in service, and Nucor Coatings will be connecting to that either last week or this week, so they'll be discharging there also.
146. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the purchase of these 2 pumps with a not to exceed on 17.5 for the big pump, and adding in the 1646 would bring a total of 19,146. That would be a not to exceed. Tom?
Yes.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to approve that.
Mike Warren, board member, so moved.
Greg Morrison, board member, seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? That passes. Thanks, Tom.
Yeah, and just to quickly summarize some of the new business, we arranged training for I think it was 6 staff members from Aqua Aerobic. They're the technology provider for the plant, just to get more people cross-trained. And it's been a while since the plant was commissioned, just to see if there are any new tricks of the trade operating these plants. So it was a very successful 2-day process there. We held it at the treatment plant, and it came out of our cost, because that's part of our scope of work, obviously. But it was definitely the woman that ran the training really did a heck of a job. So it was very valuable training, and some of the PLCs, and just kind of refamiliarizing with those different things. As part of that, they developed a spare parts list that they recommend be kept on site. So we have that quote. I wanted to hold off on that, until maybe later on in the year, just to make sure that we continue to be on our footing in terms of expenses and stuff. That was $28,000 worth of parts that they recommend. Some of the items that the plant was originally installed are now obsolete, and they came up with that list. So we'll put that under old business moving forward and revisit that at a later date. There are also some items that we have on our pending that we have in process. You know, some of the ceiling tiles for when the roof had those leaks. You know, I think Dan, right when you came on board, what, 2019, 2018, we moved to replace the roof because of the issues that. So anyway, some of the ceiling tiles have stains on them and that kind of thing. So, you know, I think we got enough inventory to replace those and just do some stuff like that. We also have a soffit in the rooftop that has an issue with it that we're going to get a quote on rectifying that, and you know, just a couple of those other smaller items there that we'll be getting quotes on and getting approval for.
All right, thanks. Next up would be old business, proposed resolutions for no more metering with BCS.
Chris, BCS Management, this district is not set up to efficiently handle metering. We have 2 existing metered customers who were just grandfathered in from the original construction, and it's still permitted in the use ordinance as is. And then I believe historically there was discussion about removing metering formally, and we just need to make sure that that's clearly communicated because we had publicly because we had a person who switched to metering on their own choice because it's allowed by the ordinance, and then they switched back to not metering because they realized it would cost them more. So costing all the other ratepayers money because, you know, Amy and I and others were involved with the back and forth of that. So just for efficiency and for consistency, we're recommending that the district formally discontinue any metered charges.
We need to take any action, or is that just FYI?
That's kind of FYI. I was working with Lori. It looked like in 2022, the board already took action to do that. Lori and I thought we found the ordinance that you passed to do that, although there was an exhibit or schedule that was missing. We're trying to track that down because if it's already been done, it's just a matter of making sure it gets to BCS to be put online and make sure it's in our records. So if we have that, then it's already done, but if not, I guess in the future we can plan to bring an amended ordinance to you to approve no more metering.
All right, fair enough. Next up is our approval of claims. We have claims in the amount of $63,471.31. Entertain a motion to approve claims.
Greg Morrison, board member, I move a motion to approve the payment of $63,471.
Mike Warren, board member, second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? That passes. I will pass this down for signature on the claims. I have signed the checks. 2 others that can sign the checks are not here today. Lori will be out all week. Joyce is out today and tomorrow, but Joyce will stop by on Friday and sign the checks, and so they'll be ready to be sent out, delivered, picked up, all of that on Friday when she comes in to sign. If there's no other business to come before the board, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.